Welcome to BrightGem YouTube channel. My name is Anish, and in this video we are going to learn how to create a scrolling background in Scratch. So let's start. So as you can see on the screen, this is what we want to create today. So what do we need here? We need a background and a sprite which looks like it's moving. Okay, so let's start. So whenever we open a new file in Scratch, we get a sprite character already there. It's a default sprite character, cat. So if you want to continue with the cat, you can use it, or like if I don't want to use it, we can delete it from here. To get a new sprite, we click on the choose a sprite button, and let's decide our character. Let's choose a bear walking. Okay, and we reduce the size from here. So right now the size is 100, we make it 70. Okay, perfect. Now we have to upload a backdrop. So we click on the backdrop button and we choose a backdrop which we want to use for this project. So let's choose the wetland. Okay, this one looks good. Now in Scratch we cannot move the backdrop, right? As you can see here in the motion, there is no blocks. That means we cannot move the backdrop. So what we can do now, so you don't need to really worry. What we can do here, we can convert this backdrop into a sprite. So how to do that? I click on the sprite button and then there is a paint option. I click on it. So when you click on the paint option, you get a new sprite here. Now right now there is nothing. If you want to draw, if you want to create your own backdrop, you can do that as well. But here I'm going to just copy this backdrop. So I choose this backdrop, I select it first, and then I click on the copy. So this backdrop is already copied. Now I go to the sprite 1 and I click on the paste. So here we got our backdrop as a sprite. Okay. Okay, perfect. Now, what we have to do the next, we have to delete the backdrop because we don't want to use this backdrop. And I click on the code. So at the bottom, you can see we have got our sprite and backdrop there. Now, the bear is behind the backdrop, as you can see, right? We want the bear to be in the front of the backdrop. So what we can do, we start the coding events. When green flag click, we click on the loops and there is one block. Go to front layer. We want the backdrop to be not in the front layer. We want it to be in the back layer. So what I can do, I click here and select the back layer. So now here when I click on the green flag, the backdrop is in the back layer. Okay, great. Now one more thing, we want this backdrop to be in the center of the screen, correct? So for that, we click on the motion and we get the block, go to X and Y. Now we already know in Scratch, if you want to move right, you have to increase the X. If you want to move left, you have to increase, you have to reduce the X. And if you want the backdrop to be in the center, we put X0 and Y0. Okay. So when green flag click, go to back layer. When I click on the green flag, it will go to the center as well. Now, what next? What is the next thing which we want to do with the backdrop? So obviously, the bear is looking in this direction, correct? That means we want the backdrop to move in the opposite direction. Okay, when we are like in a car, right? So our car is moving in front, but all the other things, the background is going in the opposite direction, right? So the same way here, when our bear is moving in the right, the backdrop will move in the left. So again, as we discussed and as we know already, to make the character go right, we increase the X, we change the X in a plus. And when we want the character or sprite to move in the left, we reduce the X. So here we want the backdrop to move in the left, so we have to change X in negative. So in motion, we get this block change X by 10. Okay, if I click on the change X by 10, the backdrop is moving in the right, but we don't want it to move in the right, we want it to move in the left, and I will reduce the steps by -5. So now when I click on this block, the backdrop is moving in the left. Yes. Now I don't want it to move 1, 2, or 3 times. I want it to keep moving forever. So for that, we click on the control and get the forever block. And I connect this block here. So when I click on the green flag, the backdrop is moving in the left. Perfect. Oh, as you can see, the backdrop got stuck in this edge. What to do here? If the backdrop gets stuck here in this side edge, we want it to start from the other edge again, repeatedly, right? So it looks like the backdrop is continuously moving. For that, we have to use the conditional statement block, if statement block, okay? So when the X position of the backdrop is reaching to this number, 465, so what we can do, we click on the operation and we get the less than block. Okay, and we need the X position because here the backdrop is moving only right and left, so we don't need to really worry about the Y axis, Y position, right? So we need only the block X position. So we get the block X position. So if X position is less than, so it's right now minus 465. Okay, so we cannot put the exact minus 465 because it's not moving more than that. It's getting stuck there. So we will get a smaller number than minus 465. So what we can do, we can use minus 460. Okay, so as you can see, if X position is less than minus 460. Now what we want to do, if X position of the backdrop is minus 460 or less than it, that in this condition we want it to go back to the other side and start all over again. What I mean this, that this backdrop is going to go in the other direction, okay, and it will start all over again. So right now you can see the number is 460. Okay, there is still some space is there, so we want it to go inside. So what we will do, we will increase this 460 by 10, so we will use 470. So we go to the motion and we get the block, go to X and Y and we type 470. The Y is not going to change, as I told you already, that the backdrop is not moving up and down, it's only moving right and left. So we make the Y 0, not 104, it's 0. Okay, perfect. So I connect this block inside forever because this condition is going to be applied forever from the beginning of the project to the end of the project. So now when I click on the green flag, the backdrop is continuously moving in the left, right? Are we done here? No, right? As you can see, there is a gap in between this backdrop, right? The white portion is there and it doesn't make it look really good. So what do we need to do? We need to fill that gap. And to fill that gap, you can use the similar kind of other backdrop which just continuously follow the process, which makes it look like the same backdrop, okay? Or we can just duplicate this one. So here I'm just going to duplicate this one. So you just right click on it and choose duplicate. And then when you click on the green flag, the problem is not solved yet. Why? Because this backdrop is starting from the 0, 0. And the other backdrop is also starting from the 0, 0. So both are moving at the same location, same X and Y. So what do we have to do? We have to change the X of this backdrop. Now what X we should choose? So before, we already know that the other backdrop is starting from the 470. So exactly at the same number, we can connect the other backdrop. So then both the backdrop will move in the same line. So what do? We type here 470. Okay, and I click on the green flag. Now as you can see, there is no space in between these two backdrops, and both the backdrops are continuously moving in that direction. So here we are done with our scrolling backdrop. Now we can make this bear change its costume so it looks like it's walking. So we can see that bear is having so many costumes here. So when the sprite is switching to different costumes, it makes it look like it's walking, right? So how to do that? Events, when green flag click, we want this bear to keep changing costume forever. So we click on the control and connect forever. We want it to keep switching to the next backdrop every time. So I click on the looks and get next costume. Now when I click on the green flag, the backdrop, the next costume is changing, right? But it's too fast. The bear looks, it's moving too fast. So we can give some time in between. We can make it wait for some seconds. So let's try 1 second. So as you can see, 1 second is too slow. So we will put it 0.5. Okay, and if you want to reduce it from 0.5, we can also try like 0.2 or 3 to make it look better. Okay, so this is how we create a scrolling backdrop in Scratch. Now let's change the name of this backdrop. Change the name of this project. So scrolling backdrop. Okay. So that's we are done with our project. Okay, good. So I hope you understand everything what I explained. If you have any kind of queries or doubts, you can just mention it in the comment box. Do like, comment and subscribe to this channel. See you in the next video. Bye. Thank you.